Hey, look, I got another paint thing. This time, unfortunately, I bought it brand new. Oh, I guess I'm cracking ice with it? I don't. Anyway, so if you remember last time I had one of these paint things, it started off looking like this and it ended up looking like this. And I have filled each hole with a cryptid. I know you're going to yell at me in the comments that I say that wrong, but this time it won't be an issue because I'm doing horror movies and I can say the word horror movies, or at least I think I can say the word horror movies. Although every time that I'm super confident that I'm saying a word correctly, you guys absolutely crush my confidence when all the oh so helpful people, thank you so much. Yeah, you remind me in the comments how I don't know English. Anyways, as I was saying, I thought this would make a great series for Halloween. And if you were paying attention, I am making a little tiny bucket. And oh, what horror movie could that be? Well, I mean, obviously it's Carrie. What other horror movie would have a bucket? Oh, right. How could I forget the movie? A Bucket of Blood. What do you think that movie's about? I mean, obviously it's about a bucket of blood, but does the bucket of blood hunt them down? Or is the lady just scared of a bucket of blood? I mean, that is kind of scary. What if it tips over and gets you all bloody? You could really stain some white clothes with that bucket of blood. And furthermore, whose bucket is it? Or I guess more importantly, whose blood is it? You know, I really hope that my algorithm doesn't de-algorithm me for using the word blood so much. But I mean, at this point, it's too late. We could have called it Kool-Aid, but I didn't. Oh, look, here's a bucket of Kool-Aid now. See, that doesn't sound right. Anyways, let me distract you with my tool. It's a super awesome tool for making hoops. I don't use it ever, but the one time that I need to hoist a bucket of red stuff, it's super handy. You know, honestly, I have a lot of tools like this. Super handy, but never used. Okay, we're way off topic. Back to this bucket of you-know-what. I thought I'd make it look like it was spilling out a little bit of you-know-what. So I'm just adding some resin to the lip to make like drips. A drippy lip. And there it is, my bucket of you-know-what. I mean, this is the Carrie whore hole. Let's move on to the next one. So in this hole, I'm making it look like, oh, hey, Emily. Right, so in this hole, I'm gonna make it look like concrete. And look at this little goober. She's always judging whatever I'm doing. Just ignore her, she'll go away. So I didn't like the concrete, so I covered it up with this landscape, but then I didn't like the landscape, so I covered that up with yellow, which will make sense once you find out what the movie is. Speaking of which, if you know what movie I'm doing, tell me in the comments now, no cheating. Don't go skipping ahead. Got it? Okay. So the yellow wasn't looking rubbery enough, so I just covered it in resin to give it that rubber look. And then I took a piece of metal and bent it into an L shape, and I placed it right at the bottom here. What could that be? I don't know. Don't worry, it'll make sense in a minute, or maybe less than a minute, because look, now I'm making a little red balloon. What could that be for? So I'm just making the balloon look shiny and rubbery, you know, as balloons look, with more resin. Yes, I should wear gloves, but you know what? I didn't touch a single drop of resin. I'm very careful. Anyways, so now I'm just hog tying my balloon. And you know what? The string wasn't looking stringy enough, if you know what I mean. So I covered it in glue and curled it. And actually, I was really surprised that that worked. And look at that, my string is stringy now. All I have to do is add it to my scene, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows that this movie is, say it with me, It. I knew you knew what it was. Let's add another horror movie to my horror movie holes. Do you think that we can just shorten that to whore holes? Although that's really hard to say. Whore holes. Haunted Heidi whore holes. Anyways, hey, look at that. I'm making 2 holes into 1 hole. And why am I doing that? Because I have a really long hole that I want to do. And I don't know if you guys like it when I just tell you what movie I'm doing or if you like to guess. I'm gonna guess that you like to guess because I would like to guess. So I'll try not to give it away on all of them, but for this one, I think it's kind of obvious. So I'll just come out and say it. It's Psycho. The shower scene. See, now you know why I had to make my 2 holes into 1 hole. You know, for the longest time, I didn't realize that Psycho was called Psycho. I thought it was called Bates Motel. And honestly, I've never seen it. I know, don't yell at me, but I've definitely seen it parried enough to get the gist, right? So this woman stays in the Bates Motel, and the owner of the Bates Motel, Mr. Bates, has issues and he's like watching her, I think. Is he watching her? Ooh, so I couldn't find the right plastic for a shower curtain. And so I end up cutting my bag that I use all the time because it has the perfect plastic for a shower curtain, but I couldn't just leave a hole in my bag. I use that bag every day to hold my molds. And so I just duct taped it shut. I don't know why I included that in the video, but there it is. Anyways, so the lady, she's staying in the hotel, and then Mr. Bates is probably watching her while she showers. And then I guess he causes her life to end with a knife. Ooh, but also he has like a mom in the house, right? And she's actually not alive anymore. But he's been treating her like she's been, I don't understand where does the girl find out about the mom? Like, the second that I find out that the person that I thought was nice actually is keeping his not alive mother and talking to her in his bedroom, you know, I'm gonna be out of that place. But I'm pretty sure she finds out, right? Or is there two girls? There might be two girls. You know what? I should just watch the movie. I'm pretty sure I saw the show. Did you know there was a show? I actually kind of enjoyed the show, but I didn't finish it. Does anybody know if it was worth watching? Anyways, I'm sure this is really boring, so I'll move on. And I'll just talk about what I'm doing. Look, I made a handprint on the shower curtain. Does that happen in the movie? I have no idea, but it would be cool if it did. And now I'm just making a stabby object out of shrinky-dink plastic. And hold on, watch it shrink. It's so satisfying. Ooh. Oh yeah, look at that little pointy stabby object. I just had to shave it to make it look more menacing. And then add the stabby fluid on the end. You can't have a stabby object without stabby fluid. Anyways, and then I add some more stabby fluid to the wall. And look at that, this whore hole is done. But hold on, I'm gonna do another whore hole. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that name. How about scary movie hole? It's lacking something. I don't know. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Until then, look at what I'm doing in this one. It's all black and white. I mean, the movie's not black and white, but the movie inside the movie is black and white. That's a hint. Okay, so this hole is going to be a lot more simple. So I think you'll probably guess what it is pretty quickly here. You see, I'm making all these little balls out of clay, and I'm putting them around this circle-like device. Maybe you could call it a ring of sorts. That's right, the movie's The Ring. Oops, did I tell you too soon? I mean, you were going to get it eventually anyway. What other movies have a well? Although, to be fair, a well is super creepy. So they really should be featured in more horror movies. I'm just saying. The idea of not knowing what's at the bottom of a well is terrifying. Anyways, look at that well inside the hole. Okay, I heard you. You guys didn't like it when I called them whore holes. So I guess let's call them scary squares. And next up, we're gonna do this square right here. Snap. Now, this is going to be another classic horror movie because why would I include a non-classic horror movie? It's going to be The Evil Dead. And look, I'm making like a dirty hole in the ground because I think that's where they found the book, right? The necronomicon. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I love that the main character's name is Ashley. Not just because it's my name, and if you ask me, it's a pretty good name, but also because it's a guy. And I've always said that Ashley is a unisex name. And nobody believes me until I bring up this movie. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's right. And I'm like, aha, I told you. Anyway, so apparently the the book, apparently it's made out of human flesh. I mean, how would you like to be the person this book was made out of? Do you think you're conscious? It is called The Evil Dead. Or did you become a demon? Does the book talk or move? Does its mouth move, or is it just made out of the flesh? I can't remember. I feel like given the movie, it probably did talk. At least in the second movie, because wasn't that like more of a comedy? I remember really liking the TV show, Ash vs. Evil, but I really don't remember anything about it. Do you think they have to lotion the book to keep it from cracking or something? Or is it just lotioned by evil? It says, it puts the lotion on the book or else it gets possessed again. I'm sure that was part of the movie somewhere, right? Anyways, oh, hey, Agatha. What you doing? Hey, look, we're done with this hole. Or I mean square. On to the next one, which is on the other side, right here. Bam. Ooh, it's a green hole. So in this hole, we're gonna do Rosemary's Baby, which if you haven't seen it, you might think, oh, that sounds like a nice movie, not a horror movie at all. And oh, how wrong you would be, my ignorant friend, because not only is this baby not normal, it's the spawn of the devil, I think. It's been a while since I've seen it. But honestly, babies are already kind of evil. They give off hormones that change the way that you think. Is that why they're called hormones? Get it? Horror movie? Hormones? Anyways, the only thing that I really remember about this movie is the mother eating raw meat. And I know it's supposed to be really gross, but honestly, it's not something that I haven't not thought about every time I cook a steak. Cha-cha! Is that not normal? I mean, come on, tell the truth. Have you not thought about sinking your teeth into a raw steak? I think Rosemary's just letting her intrusive thoughts win. Oh, look at the little wheels I made for my buggy. They're made out of button nipples. Isn't that cute? Well, I thought it was cute. Shabam. Now let's add the handles to our demon carriage. Yep, it's looking pretty cute, but not so demon-y. Let's add some red demon paint for the inside, because demons are red. I don't know. It just felt right, which maybe that's just the baby's hormones telling me to paint it red, because it's a mind-controlling demon. For our next hole, and I keep forgetting that they're scary squares, so what if we just call them creepy cubes? So in our next creepy cube, I'm doing another twofer where I make 2 holes into 1 hole, so that we can have maximum holage. I mean cubage. Snap. What are we doing in this massive cube? Well, first I have to add my wood. Hacha! Now that our wood has been added, we gotta add our blood spots. Because it's a horror movie hole, and horror movies usually have blood spots. Especially this movie. Because it features a chainsaw, and that could be a whole plethora of horror movies I know. Such as The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Ash vs. Evil, Evil Dead Rise. But we already did the Evil Dead series, remember? With the necronomicon book. So what movie could this be? Any guesses? Well, obviously this is going to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 4-part harmony. Because did you forget already? I'm making a chainsaw. And this is the chainsaw body. Oh, and look, here's the chainsaw. Hey, Emily, what do you think of my little chainsaw? Hey, no biting. Well, that was rude. Anyways, back to my chainsaw. Shasha. No, I'm just adding I don't know what that is. I guess the under part where the chain would go. And then I'm burning on some vent holes because we don't want our chainsaw to overheat when it's chainsawing things. Anyways, so is it just me, or is Texas Chainsaw Massacre like every other horror movie? It's a lot like Deliverance, you know, crazy family murdering people, or the one with the truck, Jeepers Creepers, or The Hills Have Eyes, or I don't know, there's a lot of them. It's like all those movies put together, only with a chainsaw. And that's why I've decided it's not going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's right, I tricked you. Instead, it's going to be Dale and Tucker versus Evil, because that movie is awesome. And if you have feelings about that, well, suck it up. Oh, and look at that. We're going on to our next cube, which I remember when this movie came out. Shabam. And it traumatized everybody. I was probably just a little too young to watch it, but my parents did not care what I watched, which is probably why I love horror movies today. We all thought it was real. And I don't know if it was just my age or if like the adults thought it was real too. Any guesses on what movie it is? Okay, so when my friend and I rented it from Blockbuster, yes, I am that old. So my parents were gone and we watched the movie and we got so scared that we ended up sleeping under my bed. I don't know why we would think that being under the bed would protect us, but for some reason, we thought that was the safest place. Obviously, we had 0 survival skills because everybody knows that the monsters are under the bed or in the closet. Also, it didn't help that my bedroom was in the basement. Anywho, if you haven't guessed, it's the Blair Witch. What do you think of this cube hole square? Next up, we're doing Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's right, I just came out and said it this time. No beating around the bush on this one because I love this movie. Snap-a-doodle. And okay, my first idea was I was gonna paint the background like a circus tent, but you tried painting lines in a hole. It's so hard and it looked terrible, so I just wiped out my hole. We're just gonna set it to the side and forget about it for a little bit. We'll figure it out later. No point rushing a hole color. Hey, Emily. Dang it, Emily. Quit eating my felt. Oh, but look at her. How could you say no? So like any good ADHDer, I don't know if you know, but I have ADHD. I have all this felting stuff from when I decided that I wanted to be a felter for 2 seconds. Oh my God, Emily. No, thank you. Pause off, please. Anyway, so I have all these kits and tools and felting materials because I felted for about a day and a half. But I thought they'd make really good cotton candy sacks. Because in the movie, bang, the clowns wrap people up in cotton candy sacks. Oh, wait, look. So I'm holding my sacks near my hole. And I decided the color should complement the cotton candy sacks instead. So I went with purple. Also, the inside of their spaceship is purple. And there's lots of weird tubes and stuff running all over the spaceship. So that's why I'm doing this bendy straw. See, it's like a pipe that's probably filled with cotton candy. Hold on, I'll show you a picture. Oops, that's the outside. Here's the inside. Hey, that's not purple. No, wait, there's a little purple right there. Why did I think the whole thing was purple? You know what? It doesn't matter. This movie's so colorful that nobody's gonna notice. As long as you don't tell anybody. Are you gonna tell somebody? Don't tell anybody. Anyways, so the one thing that bugs me about this movie is whose clown came first? I mean, the clowns from outer space or our clowns? Because they're pretty similar. Somebody's copying somebody. Have they been to Earth before and we copied them? Or are they just clowns because that's familiar and they don't want to scare us? These are the important questions that the movie never answers. And you know what? I would like some answers. But I guess it's time to move on to the next hole because here it is. Shabam. So I don't know if this is really a horror movie, but it's definitely a Halloween movie. So I figured it would be fine. And of course, like a lot of movies, this one features a book. And I'm pretty sure you all already know what it is. Nope, it's not The Evil Dead. We already did that one. This one's Hocus Pocus. And the book, does it have a name? I'm sure that it does. You can't just have a nameless book. Hold on, let me look it up. Oh my gosh, not really. It's called The Manual of Witchcraft and Alchemy. Well, that's lame. Well, I know what we're going to be doing the rest of this video. I mean, usually I like to go simple like Bob or Steve or Filbert, but I feel like those are overdone. How about Eric? Nah, it doesn't feel like an Eric. Ooh, Edward? I think it should be like a really old name, like Theodore, Frederick, Alfred, Oscar, Wallace, Jeffrey, Bennett, Corbin. How about Felix? Wait, hold on. What did I say? Corbin? I kind of like that one. That's what it's going to be, Corbin. I don't care if it's a name or not. It just feels right, and that's what it's going to be called from now on, Corbin. No longer shall it be named The Manual of Witchcraft and Alchemy, because that's a freaking mouthful, and we all have things to do. Also, it's rude not to use somebody's name. Anyways, look, we're done with this hole. Let me just add Corbin to said hole. What do you guys think of this one? Even if it's not exactly a horror movie. Holy cow, look at all the holes we've done. Quickly, let's recap. Carrie, It, Psycho, The Ring, Evil Dead, Rosemary's Baby, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Blair Witch, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and Hocus Pocus. Whew, that's a lot of them. But what are we gonna do next? Snap. Just one of my favorite horror movies. Ooh, look, a jerky bag. Sadly out of jerky. That's right, we reduce, reuse, and recycle on this channel. Anyways, back to this horror movie. And I'm not even gonna let you guys guess because, you know, a lot of people don't know this movie. It's called Audition. See, I made a little curtain, like a stage curtain. Which, fine, if you want to get technical, there's not actually any curtains in this movie. The curtain is symbolic, okay? But it's about this sleazeball of guy who puts on this fake audition to find his future wife or something. Oh wait, so I'm making a little syringe. And I know you can use an earring back, but as you can tell, it was way too small. So I'm just making my own earring back with this wire. And that way it makes the perfect little plunger for the syringe. Anyway, so the winner of these auditions, she turns out to be a serial killer, I guess. I mean, how many people do you need to, to be considered serial? Anyways, she really tortures him. And actually, they both end up not alive. So I guess happy ending? Oh, look at that. We're on to our next hole, which is another twofer. Snap-a-doodle. Because holes come in all shapes and sizes. And this one's going to be a tall, skinny hole. And look, I'm making a little tiny palette. Isn't it cute? So what horror movie do you think would have a palette? Well, let me give you a hint. It's not so much horror as it is a musical. And now 78.3% of you know exactly what movie I'm talking about. What is it, Rocky Horror Picture Show? It sure isn't, sorry. It's a different kind of horror. It's in fact a little horror inside of a shop. It's a little shop of horrors. Look, I heard you. I know you like to guess what movie it is, and I'm gonna do my best on the next videos to not give away the movie. But I'm pretty sure you guys were gonna guess this one right away, especially after you saw that Audrey 2. Oh, and did you know if you melt these cheap looking plants, they look way less cheaper? See, that almost looks like a luxury plant. A luxury plant? I don't know, but look, I'm making a little mane for our Audrey 2. And since I buy cheap plastic plants, I gotta paint it so it looks more real. And no, our Audrey 2's not holding their breath. I just needed to use up blue clay because I figured I was gonna paint it anyway. Gotta give our Audrey some luscious lips and whiten up those teeth. And look, I could have put Audrey 2 in a coffee can, but I thought this little thimble looked really good. It's sort of coffee can-like, and I could have put a label on it, but I want to clutter up the front of it with all these leftover body parts from my leftover body part box that are left over from other projects. Because we know that Audrey 2 is a carnivore, and not just any carnivore, which, did he try to feed Audrey 2 other meats besides human? I mean, that would have been my first go-to thing. Why not like a juicy steak? Oh wait, doesn't he start singing about human? I mean, I feel like Seymour could have tricked Audrey too. Or at least tried. Whee! I don't know why I left that in the video, but it's fun. Oh, by the way, I'm making a window because you need a little shop for your little shop of horrors, and little shops have windows, right? I don't know. Anyways, look at that, I'm done. Let's move on to the next hole. And I'm back with my creepy cubbies, or scary squares, or horror holes, or whatever you want to call them. You know what? I liked horror holes. Horror holes. You know what? I liked it. You can't tell me what to do. Also, ignore the fact that I painted that hole twice. Anyways, what movie are we doing today? Snap. Well, let me give you a hint. It's a toy that causes ouchies and may or may not open a portal to hell. Like, I know I told you I was gonna let you guys guess, but I mean, how do you keep this one a secret? It's obviously Hellraiser, and my Hellraiser cube was way too small for my hole. So I started over and I supersized it. Instead of 1 cube, we're using 8 cubes. So, okay, my question is, if the toy maker made a toy that opens a portal to hell, well, okay, I have 2 questions. Did he do it on purpose? I can't remember. And if not, why hell? I mean, obviously it's a horror movie, so a portal to heaven would be more of a Lifetime movie and probably less interesting. But how does he know that he opened a portal to hell? What if it's just a portal to another planet or a different dimension and they say hello by torturing you? I don't know. Maybe their planet's called hell and they're like, well, welcome to hell. I honestly don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, look, there's my cube, and I do know that it has a name. I just don't trust myself to say it right. Now, what do I do with this little adorable cube? I can tell we made the right choice to upsize it. And on to the next hole, which I've gotten a lot of requests for. And you're right, this is a must-have horror hole because it's a classic and it's one of my favorites. And this time I am gonna let you guess, even though I'm sure that this grid has already pretty much given it away. But let me see if I can give you like a really bad description of the movie. Okay, so there's 3 guys in a room who are strangers playing a game, and one of them's really quiet, but the other 2 have like decent conversation for most of the movie. And they talk about life and I don't know, everything. But when they do start talking, they realize that they're all like connected in some way. At least I think they realize that. Or maybe the audience just realizes it. I don't know. I don't think it matters. But one of the talkative guys, it turns out that he's like not a very good guy. And the quiet guy is an even worse guy. But the other talkative guy, he's actually pretty good. He's decent. But unfortunately, he loses the game. And I think he's the only one that dies. Although now that I think about it, maybe the second talkative guy also dies. And the quiet guy, he dies later. But I think that's in the second movie. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen this movie. But how was my description? Did you get it? Do you know what movie it is? I mean, this little dangly foot is definitely going to give it away, but it's Saw. And look, I know I could make a little saw to go with the foot, but I don't know if you've noticed, but there's not really much room in these horror holes. Anyways, do you like my saw hole? Next up on the hole schedule, boink. This one's gonna be a stripy hole. And I know it looks like a Christmas package, but it's not. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm tricking you. But I'm making a hand. And do you know how hard it is to sculpt a hand? It's really hard, especially at this size. Okay, and quick confession, I haven't actually seen this movie. At least I haven't seen it as an adult. I feel like I've seen clips of it, maybe as a child, but I do know the basic premise, I think. And honestly, I have no excuse. I know I would love this movie. Ooh, look, so I sucked at making these hands so bad that I had to make multiple of them, you know, to finally get it right. Anyway, so the premise that I think this movie is, and I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but there's this creepy creep guy and he likes coming into bedrooms at night, and I think he's dead. And also his face has melted off. I don't know why, but he likes making people go to sleep. And for some reason he has claws. Is he like a butcher and this is like his meat claws for shredding pork? I'm not sure. Speaking of Shredder, no, this is not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is Nightmare on Elm Street. And I do know that that hand does not look like Freddy Krueger's, but you know what? I'm working very tiny here and it's hard. Anyways, on to the next one, which will be this hole right here. Okay, so this is going to be another movie that it's going to be hard to keep secret what it is. But basically, it's a movie about a doll who's a good guy until he gets influenced by a bad guy, and then he becomes a murderer. And this packaging definitely gives it away. Dang, cat hair gets on everything. Anyways, if you haven't guessed, it's Chucky. And I'm turning his haunted horror hole into the packaging of the good guy's doll. Because if you didn't know, Chucky is a good guy's doll who's been possessed by the spirit of a bad guy. And look, I didn't want to have to make a whole Chucky doll. Don't get mad at me. It sounded like a lot of work and I didn't want to do it. So I'm making it look like he burst out of his package. And I don't know why there's red stuff on the corners because he's a doll and he wouldn't have red stuff. But you know what? There it is. We're moving on. And the next hole is going to have 4 holes in one. What? Ashley, you've gone crazy. I sure have. What movie could be so good that it deserves 4 holes? Well, maybe it's not so much one movie as a whole bunch of movies because I'm running out of holes here. And there are way more than 4 horror movies left that I would like to include in my horror holes. So instead, I'm going to make the living room that you might watch these horror movies in. And I know you're thinking, Ashley, that's kind of lame. But hold on, I have a surprise. First, I got to add my 80s paneling to my hole because I don't know why, but whenever I think of classic horror movies, I think of the 80s. Even though that's not really true. And yep, I gotta sacrifice my glasses cloth to make carpet. Nothing's safe in my house. It all gets turned into art eventually. Oh, and here comes the surprise. It's a whole working TV. Look, it actually works. I put all these stations on it. It holds 10 hours of video. That's like at least 6 or 7 movies. I mean, sure, it's mostly cartoons right now, but the opportunity is there. However, at this point, I just did like generic hands because that could be the Poltergeist or I don't know, pretty much any zombie movie. Ooh, but I felt like our TV was a little too shiny, so I did sand it and paint it. And I feel like that made it look more, I don't know, grungy. And then I just gotta find the correct channel. It did come with a remote, but I like turning the buttons better. Honestly, I am thinking about putting horror movies on there. I just need to figure out how to download and whatever. But I'm really liking the hands. What do you guys think of all my horror holes? Did you like this series? Should I do another one? Ooh, so I added like a frame around it just to finish it off. And then let's just see it next to the cryptid holes that I did. You know, the first box. Which one do you like better? I think I like the horror movies one. Anyways, thanks for watching this whole video. You rock. And if you liked this video and you're at the end, so I assume you might, why not subscribe? Because that would really make my day. Also, what should I do for my next box? Maybe video games or backrooms levels?